Hi everyone. Welcome to one more episode of the KIE Live Series. We are on number 6 right now, and today we have Guilherme Caponetto who will be talking about collaboration within Business Central. How can teams work together within Business Central? Which features do we have that support this collaboration within the team members? So before we start, I am Karina Varela, and the Kie Live Series is a series that is meant to share knowledge about jBPM, Drools, OptaPlanner, and Kogito, all the projects that are under the Kie umbrella. So feel free to share any questions you have on the chat during the presentation, and I'll make sure that I'll bring it to Gui. So I'll bring now to stage Guilherme Caponetto, who is our software engineer on the core jBPM team. So welcome, Gui. How are you doing? Thank you for accepting the invite to talk here today.
Hey, Karina. Thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure.
Cool. And so you're going to tell us how we can actually use Business Central, work with branches, work with themes, right? Pull requests also involved in your presentation?
Yes, we're going to be talking about how we can leverage the support we have with Git to work in a more collaborative way in Business Central by using branch support and the change requests that we have in Business Central.
Ooh, and we have live demo, right?
Yeah, I hope everything goes well.
Sure. Yeah, okay. So, Gui, I will share your screen right now. I won't take much of your time. And good presentation. I'll be here on the backstage.
Thank you. Okay, so this is my slides.
Just hit the present button right there so we can just have it like on full screen, if possible.
Okay, sure. I'll do that. Okay, so as I was saying, in this presentation, I'll be talking about Workspace collaboration in Business Central. So basically, my presentation is divided into two parts. The first one, I will be showing a couple of slides, showing some screenshots and talk about some concepts. And then in the second part, we'll jump into a hands-on demonstration, okay? So in Business Central, when you create a project, behind the scenes, we are creating a Git repository for that project. So with that, we can leverage from some Git functionalities inside Business Central. So for example, we have the branch support here. And as I'm highlighting here, you can see that this is the actual branch that I'm currently on. And here is the list of the branches that I have in this project. And I can also add new branches. And this is good because I can work on some features or bug fixes in a separate way from the master branch. And I don't have to actually do the commits directly in the master branch, which can be bad, right? Maybe a faulty commit could break the master branch, and we don't want that, okay? And after the presentation, you will get the slides. And here at the bottom, you can see I added a nice blog post about this feature in Business Central that you can take a look, okay? Continuing with branch management, here is the project screen, and under settings and this branch management section, you'll find a nice feature that you can control do a personalized control over your branches, right? So here I have selected my feature branch, and I can, as an administrator, I can set the permissions of this branch. So for example, on the master branch, I could remove the contributors right permission, so no contributors can do a direct commit on the master branch. Okay, so this is a nice feature to keep things in a little bit more control and organized. Okay, and as always, down here you can check another nice blog post about this feature. Okay, so I talked about branch support, and if you are working on a feature or a bug fix, you would usually you would create a new branch to work on that from the master branch, and then make your changes. Once everything is done, how do you integrate these changes back into the master branch? So for that, last year, 2019, in the end of last year, we added this nice feature of the change requests. This is this is pretty similar to GitHub pull requests, but in a simpler way. Okay, and in this in the project main screen, you find a new tab called change requests. And this badge here indicates the number of currently open change requests. So in this list, I don't have any open change requests. We will see in the demonstration, but right now I don't have any open change requests. The green icon indicates that the change request has been merged, and the red icon indicates that this change request was either closed by the author or rejected by the administrator for some reason. Okay, we'll see about that in more details. And in this list, you can have a nice summary of all the change requests associated with this project. You can see the author of the change request. In this case, it's all change requests. All change requests have been submitted by the developer. You can see when they were submitted, the number of files, and the number of comments associated with the change requests. Okay. Okay, so let me go back a little bit. And once you did all your work in your branch, in order to submit the change request, you will have this button right here to submit a change request. So that is our next screen. In this screen, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You have to provide a short summary about your work. And if you want, in this description, you can give more details about that. And I need to mention that we have two branches that we need to keep in mind here. The source branch, which is the branch you are currently on, and the target branch. The target branch is the branch where you want to send where you want to merge all your changes. Okay. Usually you would choose the master branch, but in this drop down you can select all available branches. Okay, that you have write permission and read permission. Sorry. And down here you can see a summary of the changes. In this case, I have one file, 18 additions and 7 deletions. And down here you can check a list of the differences between the source branch and the target branch. So here on the right is everything you will merge into the target branch. Okay, so here you can see the differences, and it could be a last chance, a last review before submitting the change request. So once you submitted a change request, this is the screen of the change request submitted. And here I have the view of the reviewer. In this case, is the admin user. And the admin user here has write access, has write permissions on the master branch. And for that reason, this user can either reject or merge the change request. There are other options here, but I will talk about it in the demonstration, okay? So this is the change request screen. You can see here all the details about the change request, and the changed files are this tab is the tab where you find all the differences, just like the previous slide, like this one. Okay, let's go back. And down here you can interact with users can interact with each other by writing comments, and we'll see why this is important. In this case, this user is asking for the author of the change request to do some more changes. Okay. And in this slide, we see the change request, but opened from the author perspective, which is the developer, and this user doesn't have the permissions to write on the target branch. So this user can either close the change request or wait for it to be reviewed. And here we can see that the administrator commented on this change request, asking for something, and this user can either address this comment and do the changes, the required changes, or justify why they're not doing it. Okay, so this is a nice thing that will be documented and you can refer to later. So that's it. That's the basic workflow. Here's a summary of the workflow. Probably you would have other use cases, but that's the basic workflow to use that. Okay. So first, just to review it, you would have a new feature or bug fix to work, and you would assign this bug fix or new feature to a developer. So after that, the developer creates a branch for this feature for they to work on it. Then they make all the changes, all the required changes associated with the feature. And then after everything is done, the user can submit a change request, as we've seen, from this branch into the master branch, if this is the case. After that, the review process begins, and so coworkers can interact with this change request. And finally, after everything is addressed, everything is discussed, a person with right access on the target branch can integrate these changes by merging it. Okay. So that's it for the presentation that I had. And let's jump into the demonstration. Okay. I'm gonna minimize my screen here. Here you can see that I'm gonna start up Business Central. Pretty simple. Let's wait for that. And here I'll have two users. One will be the administrator and one will be the developer, just to exemplify this workflow. Okay, so let's wait for Business Central to start up.
And Guy, while it is starting up, this is available both in jBPM and the enterprise version of it, the Red Hat Process Automation Manager, right?
Yes, that's right, Karina.
Good. And okay, I see we already have questions on the chat, but I'll hold them till the end so you can go through the demo and then I'll bring them over, okay? And it is about merge conflicts. So already have that in mind, okay?
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Okay, I have started up Business Central. Let me do some things first. Here's my admin user. I'm logging in. let's check the users. Here you can see that I have an admin user and the developer. The admin has the admin role, and the developer has the developer role. I'm just gonna change it in the developer role. I want to disable all the permissions for projects. I want to just set the read permission for this user, because I want to set a personalized permission for each branch, and you will see that in action. Okay, so this is a fresh install of Business Central. So here is the default space. Let's create a project first. Let's call my project. I'm pretty good at names. Okay, so here I'd like to go under settings and branch management and disable the right permissions for contributors first. Okay, and let's create some assets here. Let's create a person, and you can apply it on your projects. Let's give it a name, just to have something. Adding a name. Okay, I have my person here. Let's create an empty daemon. You understand why. Okay, here I have my two assets. Let's go back to my space and add this contributor, which is a developer. And let's go to the project and do the same.
So you have to have this persona both in space and projects, correct?
Yes, yes. Because you can have contributors for spaces, but in different projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
Sure. Now let's log in with the developer. Okay, let's go to the project. Everything should be okay. So I'm on the project, and you can see here that I cannot change this branch, because this developer with the developer role cannot make changes. So imagine that I have a new feature that I want this developer to work on. So could be done by the developer, but let's create this branch by the administrator. So let's say I have feature 222, and this could be associated with your issue tracker, like Jira, for example. Okay, and let's go here in the settings and set this feature branch to have right permission on for the contributors, because when you create a branch, all the permissions from the master branch are inherited. Okay, so in this case, we can see here that the master branch has this permission, but let's set the right permission only for the contributor only for this branch. Okay, everything is set up for the developer. Let's refresh here. Let's go back to our project, and you can see here that I'm on the master branch. I still cannot make changes here, but if I go to this branch, and on this branch I can. So let's say I'm gonna work on the feature 222, which is simply add a last name to this user object. Let's add a comment here, adding a last name. Okay, let's say my work is done. I'm gonna go here in the change request and submit a change request. So here I can add a summary. Let's say edit person. And here I only have the master branch to send the changes besides this one. And here I can check the differences. So here you can see that behind the scenes, I added last name for this Java object, which also added a getter and setter and edited the constructor. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, everything looks good. Let's submit this change request. Okay, here's the change request. You can see here that I cannot merge this change request with this user. But let's go back to our admin. And here you can see that we already have this change request to see. And let's see it. Here with my administrator user, I can either reject the change request, squash and merge, or simply merge. I will talk about this in a little bit. Okay. So suppose this administrator is reviewing this change request and see that this name could be improved, right? Although the developer didn't change this, let's do this right now and change this name to first name. So this is how this user can interact with the other. Hey, can you rename name to first name, for example? And let's go back to our developer. Here I can see the comment, and I, as a developer, can think, okay, I'll do that. Sure. And this is nice because you keep a nice log about the conversation you can refer in the future. So let's do the required changes. Here in person, I have name here. Let's change the first name. Name to first name. Okay, looks good. If I go back to my change request, I can see here under this tab that last name and first name are here. Okay, I can then communicate that. Done. Something like that. Let's go back to our admin user. And let's say it's not enough. Let's say, being polite, sorry, but can you please also remove the empty daemon? Just because it's there for no reason. And the developer again can see this comment and say, hey, sure, I can do that, no problems. Let's go back here and delete this daemon. Here you can see here on my feature branch that I have this person object with 2 fields and no daemon. And here, going back to my administrator, I can go to the master branch and see that everything is there. Things are untouched yet. So I can, as a developer, I can go back to the change request and say, I did. Everything is done. Going back to my administrator, let's check. he said that everything is done. Let's check the differences. Now you see here that I have two changed files, and you can see here that the DMN is deleted. In the case of deletion or addition, you would see only the one panel, not two, because there are the differences in the deleted is simple removing everything, and the addition is simply adding everything. Okay. So you can, as a reviewer, you can check here, everything is done, everything is all right, and then you can say something. I don't know, thanks, approving. And then once everything is done, you have two options here to integrate the changes. You can squash and merge, and this is basically combining all the commits that the source branch has into a single one and adding this single commit into top of the target branch. Or you can simply merge the change request. This will add all the commits into the master branch. I prefer to do the squash and merge because it makes the target branch a little bit more organized. Okay, so here you can add a message, and for example, you can add the feature 222 just to identify this commit. Okay, and if you go back here in the project, you see that I don't have any open change requests. If I go here and see all, you can see here that this one is merged, and you can see here that with 2 changed files and 7 comments. And if we go back to our assets, you can see here that our DMN is gone, and the person object is updated with only one commit. This first two is the first 2 commits that I did when I created the project. You remember that, right? And this one is the single commit that I add. If you go back to the feature branch and see the person, you will have all the history here to check later. Okay, so you can do the merge or you can squash and merge. I personally prefer the squash and merge to keep the target branch, which usually would be the master branch, in a more organized way. Okay, so I guess that's it for the presentation. I'm right on time, and thank you for the attention. Thank you for being here. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll try my best to answer them. But if I don't know how to answer right now, I will definitely look into it, and we can chat about it on our Zulip channel or on other ways, and we can solve this. Okay, so thank you.
Sounds perfect. Thank you, Gui, for the presentation. I already stopped sharing your screen, and I'd like to use a couple of minutes just to bring the 2 questions that we had, if
Sure.
that's okay for you. So sometimes when we are working with Git, we can find merge conflicts. So how can we work with merge conflicts within Business Central?
That's a great question. And when we were designing the change request, we definitely thought about that. But the short answer is that if you find any conflict in the change request, you will be warned in the change request. So if there is any conflict, you cannot merge the change request, but unfortunately, you would have to solve it using the command line by hand. So right now, we don't have a conflict solver feature. But as I said, this change request is a simpler version of Git pull requests, for example. But right now, in these cases, you would need to rely on the command line.
Perfect, thank you. And the other questions that we have is about BPMN models merging. So BPMN models are notoriously hard to merge between branches. Does the new functionality of change requests address that? Is it possible to merge BPMN models from different branches?
Yes, that's a good question. It depends on the conflicts. For example, if I have a BPMN on the master branch, for example, we had an empty DMN, right? If I had a BPMN and on my source branch, I did some changes, the merge would be done fine because we wouldn't have any conflicts. But in case of conflict, it's the same answer of the first question. But in another thing that I may add to this answer is that I know that it's hard to check the differences between two BPMN files, the changes, right? The XML differences between them. And this was definitely a concern for us. And we would like to present, in that case, some visual differences between the models, similar to what you would find using our Chrome extension for Kogito or the VS Code extension. But right now, we don't support that, but that's a nice feature for the future.
Great to know that. And if you're not aware of it, we have a Chrome extension for Kogito, the community project that we are currently working at, that you can actually visualize these BPMN model differences when you have these project versions on GitHub. If you want to know more about it, just join us on Zulip chat and we can chat about it. And the last one, like these features that you just shared, is it fully supported features as like Git-like? So underneath, is it working with Git commands?
Yes, that's pretty much it, Git commands.
Perfect. That's all the questions we had for today. Guy, I'd like to thank you for your great presentation. I learned a lot with it. And if you're watching right now, I would like to share with you that all the presentations are actually going to be available at our KIE Live. Let me share the link with you. At our KIE Live YouTube, GitHub. Here it is. So you can just find all the decks in here for the all the live streamings, including the deck that Guilherme presented today. So Gui, thank you.
Thank you very much, Karina, for this opportunity, and see you next week.
Yes. So if you are still here, I'd like to thank you for being with us today. Next week, we will bring news. We will have more knowledge sharing with Guilherme. And we will have a new host join me, a new co-host. So I hope I can see you next week. And thank you for being here. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.